So if you're anything like me, you've got these. Old planners sitting around the house, haven't been used, but we don't want to waste them. So today I'm going to share with you guys 7 ways that you can use expired planners. So today on my channel, I'm going to be sharing with you guys 7 ways that you can use expired planners. Don't toss them out just yet, because I'm going to share with you some creative ways you can still put these babies to use. So the first way that you can use your old expired planner is pretty self-explanatory. You are just going to use it for the next year. And so all you need to do in this particular case is just cover up the dates with a little white out and then add a new date, and you are ready to go for next year. So we're going to have a little fun today. I'm going to go ahead and just decorate everything day by day using those 7 ways so that you can see everything on paper in front of you and you can get a good visual on the 7 ways that you can repurpose an old expired planner. So the first way is pretty much just as it is, but you are going to cover it up so that way you have new dates popped in and you can use it for next year. So the second way that you guys can repurpose old planners is by using it for a memory keeper. And so I'm not really big into memory keeping, but I know there are a lot of you who are. So many talented people out there who know how to do that whole thing. I don't, but it is a goal of mine to eventually incorporate that into my planner lineup. And so that is what you could do. Use your whole expired planner for a memory keeper. Now you probably would want to go ahead and cover up the dates as well. If you want to do it day by day, you can. If you just want to use it as a big memory keeper with no dates, that is an option as well. So the next way that you can repurpose an old planner is to use it to track a word of the day. So I am newly trying to incorporate this into my planner system. I love writing in a word and looking the definition up and applying it in some way, seeing how I can incorporate it into my vocabulary. So that's a great way that you can use an old expired planner. It's just day by day, find a word. I happen to use the Merriam-Webster's online dictionary, and it actually has a word of the day every day that it sends out to you. And so you can just simply write in that word and write the definition and write all the information about it, and then reflect on it and see how you can apply it, use it in a sentence and all of that good stuff that we learned in school. And so that way you can expand your vocabulary. So that's a great way to do this sort of thing and repurpose a planner and not let it go to waste. All right, so the next way that you can repurpose your old planner is by using it to doodle. Addison and I love to doodle. We have a little doodle notebook that we use to doodle from time to time. I am not that good at it, but if you're trying to get better at it, then this is a great way to practice. And I do also have a stencil pack that has been helping me with that. And so this stencil pack has 15 stencil sheets. I found it on Amazon. It's so cool. So I've been using this from time to time. And so you literally just use day by day. You have maybe a doodle of the day and you just literally just start doodling. You can change the date as well. As you saw, I went back and changed the date on certain things. And so you'll probably want to change the date just so you know what day this doodle is from. And this is going to help you get better at doodling because, again, I'm horrible. I'm so horrible, but I do want to get better at it. And so the only way that you're going to get better is by practicing. And Addison loves to doodle. And so her and I will just grab that book that we have and we'll just sit down and we'll just go at it, you know, and she really loves it. And so it's like the thing that her and I do together. And also, if you want to do some bujo type stuff, you'll probably want to do some practice work as well, just because that's what you're doing when you're doing a bullet journal. It's a lot of doodling and it's all about that pen to paper method. And I wish I was better at doodling. I really do, because I did want to start doing some bullet journaling stuff in the past, but I just was so overwhelmed by it. Because I know I don't have the best artistic skills, you know. But it would be cool to add more of that to my planning. And so the stencil is great for that because you can literally just trace it until you know, it becomes muscle memory. You can also find online some different ways or different doodling apps that you can try as well. So it's a fun little pastime Addison and I do every so often. I think she's a lot better at it than I am. And so you can literally just go day by day and have a few doodles that you want to do. Maybe you do a doodle up here and then one here and one here. However you structure it, but it's a great way to use an expired planner so that way it doesn't go to waste, because you would typically just be tossing it or giving it away, but if it's expired, you probably would be tossing it. So this is a great way to not let it go to waste and still make it mean something, because you're actually practicing something that you want to learn how to do better. And so for me, this is how I would do that, just because I'm not the best at it. But I think the more you practice it, the more it becomes muscle memory for you and the easier it becomes. So as you can see, I'm not doing that well with the stencil. So imagine without the stencil. But again, there's so many different ways you can learn how to do this. I like to go on Pinterest and just type in doodling. And they'll give you like the step by step. So they'll give you like step 1, draw this line, step 2, draw this line, step 3, you know, and so on and so forth, to make it easier for you to learn how to do it. And so doodling is really fun, but it's not as fun when you don't really know what you're doing. So you just got to keep practicing, and eventually you'll figure it all out. And so if you guys want to know where I got this from, then be sure to comment and I'll leave the link for you. But it has lots of little stencils here that are really, really cute. And they just kind of give you the basics. So that's the next way that you can use your expired planner, is to just play around with some doodles. Next way that you can use your expired planner is to try out some different spreads. So especially when you're new to the planner community, it's a little bit overwhelming and confusing on how to structure things. And so this is a great way to just play around with some different layers, some different sticker placements, and figure this thing out in terms of how you want to plan your day out. And so I have this sticker book here, which I created back in the day. And so we can just kind of play around with some placement, because we have an old expired planner to do that. And so I'll show you how we do that. So this is a great way to try a new layout out. If you want to figure out how you want to structure your day, you're not quite sure where you want to put like maybe your schedule or your chores or your meal plan or your goals, and you want to play around with it, this is a great way to do that. Now, of course, you don't want to go ham because you don't want to waste your stickers, but I happen to have a lot of stickers laying around, but you don't even have to use stickers. If you just want to kind of write it in and see different scenarios within the week, then this is a great way to do that. And so that is the next way that you can use those old expired planners, is to play around with some layouts to figure out how you want to structure your planner setup. The next way that you can use old expired planners is as a journal. So I have recently gotten into journaling, and so I have a whole different setup for that. But if you have an old planner laying around that is expired, of course, that's what we're talking about here, you can use that day by day as a journal. So what you'd want to do, of course, is cover up the date because it is going to be an expired date, and then redate it. And then you'll want to go ahead and just start writing your thoughts in. You can add a photo, you can add different elements here to really jazz it up. But what I typically do for me, y'all, is I just write it in. So I'll start by, today was a whatever day. Was it a great day? Was it a stressful day? How was my day? And so that's why you want to make sure that you redate it. And then I'll talk about why today was great. I'll talk about my struggles. I'll talk about different things I want to do differently for tomorrow. I'll just pour out all of my thoughts here. So this is just how it would look for me. So that's just a little sample of kind of how I would structure it. I do like to do start off by talking about how my overall day was, and then I like to write in my wins, my losses, and just really reflect on that day. So this is a great way to use an old expired planners. If, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best ways, is because you can easily cover up a date, but you have all of this space here to be able to write in your thoughts. And sometimes people don't want to buy a dedicated planner for that. But it is great to journal. Journaling really clears your mind, and it helps you put things into perspective and figure out how to maybe do things differently on the next day, and also to give you that pump of encouragement when you had a really good day. So I like to see it all on paper, and I think that this is a great way to do that and not have to go out and buy a whole new planner. If you already have it laid around, just use what you got. And so that is the next way that you can use an old expired planner. So we are down to the last way that you can use this old expired planner that you got. So the last way that you can use an old expired planner is as a work planner, or like social media planner, content planner. You can dump it all out day by day. So I will show you kind of how that would look as well. And so you guys know, for me, that I have a blog, I have a YouTube channel, I have an Instagram, I have a lot going on, and I do have a dedicated work and social media planner. But if you have an old outdated planner that you're wanting to track some of these things in, this is a great way to do that. And so because of the way this planner is sectioned out, because again, you may not have this vertical layout, you may have a different layout, but it's a similar concept. You'll just kind of section it off based on what you're trying to track. And so for me, that would be blog, that would be social media, and that would be YouTube, and then just anything in between. And you can also use it to track statistics on your blog, statistics on your YouTube channel, views, revenue, anything like that can go here. So you could section it off by those parts of business that you're working with. So for me, it would be like YouTube, and then it would be blog, and then just social channels. I also would probably eventually do one for brands if I was doing it this way. If I'm working with some brands, I want to see all of that on one page. So you could put your follower count. You know, you could put the videos that you want to film that week. You could put views if you wanted to. If you're getting paid, are you getting paid this week? And so basically any statistics that you want to track, you could put in that section. Same thing with your blog pretty much. You could put how many subscribers you have. You could put, you know, what you want, what content you want to post for that week or for that day. Because you would be doing this day by day. Same thing with this. And just basically anything that you want to do pertaining to your blog. Same with social. You can list them all here. So you could list even YouTube here if you wanted. You could list Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want here. And if you want to track day by day, how many followers you have, how much you've increased over the previous day, you could log all that here. So this could just basically be a way for you to write in the content that you want to post for that day, and then any statistics that you want to track as well. And of course, you'd want to cover up that date there, and you want to put the correct date that goes there. Same thing for the rest of the days as well, except for this column, because you're just kind of exploring with layouts. This one as well, I would just cover it up. You don't necessarily have to put a new date there unless you're doing like a Doodle a day or whatever the case may be. And you'll know kind of how to structure it based on what your needs are. And so those are the 7 ways that you could repurpose an old planner. There are many more other ways that you could repurpose a planner. These are just 7 ways that I found helpful and creative. And so I will share more in the future. And so just to recap, the first way we talked about was to redate your whole week. And that is really self-explanatory. If you have an old planner laying around and you want to use it for the next week, you'll have to redate it. You'll have to redate the monthly as well as the weeklies. And so that can be a little bit of a daunting task, but again, you're going to save money on the back end. You already have the planner, so why not try to use it in the best way possible? And in my opinion, just redating it is the best way to do that. And so as you can see in the column 1, I've redated it and kind of given you an example of how that would look. The second way is to use it as a memory planner. Now, I'm not really big on memory planning. Again, you guys know that, but you can pop a photo in, some different elements in. If you're really good at that, you'll know exactly what to do. You could write a little blurb about today or what the picture represents, and then just have fun with it. And so that's what I've done here on Tuesday. Wednesday is a word a day. So I am working on just taking in more words and using more words in my vocabulary. And so this is a great way to do that. You'll just put whatever that word is at the top. You'll put the definition, and then you could put a little fun fact about it depending on the app that you're using. And then of course you'll want to write if it's a noun, a verb, or whatever it is. You probably may want to do that here. I just popped it in at the bottom. So that's another way by using it as a word of the day tracker. Next way that you can use an expired planner is for a doodle a day. If you're working on your artistic skills, you want to get better at it, you want to just have fun and doodle and get better at that whole art process, you can use the planner for that as well. You don't have to redate it necessarily unless you're doing a doodle of the day, then you'll want to see what date that is. But this is a fun way to use an expired planner. Next up is if you just want to kind of play around with some layouts. You had this planner and you just were never really quite sure how to use it, and now it's expired. And now you can use the planner to just play around with some different layouts and different elements. Of course, you don't want to go ham because you don't want to use all of your stuff up, all of your stickers. Of course, that's very priceless to us, and we want to use it in our spreads. So you could actually do the pen to paper method and just kind of draw in some things. Just write today, maybe put some bullet points, do this one, meal planner, goals, however you want to structure it, play around with that on that particular day, and you'll have a whole week to do that, and to just use this planner as a dedicated way to explore different layouts and play around with some stickers and things like that. Next way is to write. The next way is as a journal. I think that's a great way to use an expired planner as well, because you can use it as a way to kind of dump everything out after the day, sit down in bed and write in what happened today, how'd you feel about today, how did things go? This is a great way to do that. Of course, you will also want to redate that at the top because you want to know what day it pertains to. Last way is for your social stats, social media, business things. If you don't want a dedicated business planner or you're trying to figure out if you do, this is a great way to do that because you already have this expired planner. You could test it out and see if that's something that you may want to implement for the next year. And so what I've done is just mark in those different aspects of my business that I want to track things for. You can add things like follower count, a video you want to film that day, content you want to post for that day, views, if you're getting paid, if you're working with brands, anything like that can all go on that day. And so that's it, y'all. Hopefully you got a little inspiration out of it. This was really fun for me, although my doodles were quite the struggle. As you can see, that's not my strong suit, but I really did have a good time with you guys today in exploring ways that you can use an old planner. So don't toss out that old planner. You can still use it. Don't let it go to waste. There's so many different things that you can do with it. This was just 7 ways. And of course, I'll come back in the future and share with you guys more ways that you can use your expired planner. So thank you guys so much for stopping by today to catch this video. You should see my desk right now. I have a ton of things out, but again, it's fun. This was fun for me. And so hopefully you enjoyed it as well. So much so that you'll give me a thumbs up on this video. You'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're new here, and you'll come back and you'll catch another video, in which case I'll see you guys then.